Members, I hope you can see my screen. All right. Welcome to our today's video. My name is Embark, and I'm going to be a tutor in this course of learning how to make mobile application using Flutter. It's going to be a very long journey, so you need to have your motivation, and you should be ready to face anything or all the kind of challenges that you're going to face in all ways, so that you should be able to get this knowledge, because it sounds good for someone to have the knowledge of being able to create mobile applications, but most people don't know what it takes to reach that level of creating mobile application. There's a lot of intimidation and reasons to why you should give up. But if one person is able to do a mobile app, what does it mean? It means that he's not the first person or the last person. It means that you can also do what? You can also learn. So it's going to be a very long journey and hectic. So you should get all your energy and put it together. It's just like it's just all about the mentality and how you look at it. Someone may think that it's something simple by just joining class and then you learn. But that's not the truth. It's something hard. You have to bring all your energy in order to understand these things and being able to do what? To implement them. Otherwise, if you think they are simple and you're going to just use your free time or what to learn or joining classes, then you might be wasting time. So, but they are possible, and once you learn them, you'll learn them forever. So let us look at different things that you're going to need. So here we start the journey. So different things that you're going to need. First of all, you're going to need a computer. You're going to need your own computer, and should have these following things. So first of all, the processor should be at least i3. At least, okay, let me just i5, sorry. So the processor of the computer that you're using, it should be at least i5 and above. Okay? So RAM, the storage, the RAM, at least it should be 8 GB plus. Okay? 8 GB and above. Okay? And then another thing that you're going to need is the storage. So the storage that you need, you may need a hard disk, but you should better at least put SSD of 250. That's how they count it, 250 GB and above. Okay, so these are the minimal things that you need in order to have a fair environment for your development. So this is a hard disk, what you call hard disk, or the storage if you didn't know it. So if you don't have it in your computer, go and ask a person who knows about computer, or at the repair or anyone, and they tell you about what you call SSD. So you have to write your SSD. Okay, so this SSD is a solid state storage device that we use to store data. Instead of having hard disk that rotates, if you have an SSD, then your development will be fast, your environment will be really fast. So make sure that you have at least SSD. You can have of 500 GB, you can have of 1 terabyte SSD. So all of these, of course, they come with a cost, because once you have this knowledge, of course, you also have to get profits. So you have to make sure that you have a computer of this kind, at least, in order to do what? To embark on this journey of mobile application development. If you don't have it, then you're going to face more challenges compared to the one that I'm going to face along with you. So make sure that you invest. If you're getting a loan, if you're getting any kind of things, make sure that you at least invest and get this amount. This kind of of a platform. So with that much said, so the next thing that you're going to need is the basic programming language. So at this point, we are going to assume that you know the basics of that programming. If you know if you don't have basics of that programming, I've already created a course or a video, some videos that you can teach yourself that programming. So if you have other programming languages that you know, such as Java, such as C#, still you can proceed with us. But if you don't know anything in programming, then you better start from these basics of that programming. So I can show you how you can get this one from my YouTube channel. So if you want to learn that programming, if you want to teach yourself that programming, go to YouTube and then search. You can search even from any person. Just search on YouTube that programming, learn that programming. You'll find it there. Or you can go to my YouTube channel specifically by coming here and search Learn It with Mahindo. That one. Then you go to, that is the YouTube channel. Then you go to my YouTube channel, click on my YouTube channel, and then click on playlist, and then you'll find a playlist of that programming language. My internet is a bit slow right now, but go to come here, that is my YouTube channel, then come to playlist. Okay, so when you click on playlist, you'll find different playlists of things that we've been teaching. Okay, so if you come to this side, you'll find a playlist of Flutter, this one with 17 videos. So this video is just, these videos are going to be just continuation of this one, but here you may need just only to learn only the videos that are about that programming. I'm going to make another special playlist for only that programming and add it in the description of this video. So you see, these are the videos. You can learn this, you can watch this first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one. So you need up to these 5 videos. I'm going to make a playlist and put the link of this in the description of this playlist. So once you watch and practice these first 5 videos, then you'll be able, or will be good to get started with what you're going to be teaching about mobile application development. So if you didn't know that, or if you don't have knowledge of Java programming, you'll have to watch these videos. I take you step by step. So with that much said, let us go straight into our today's business. In other words, this is all what we need, and then maybe the other thing is the motivation. Motivation, I emphasize it so much because if you don't have the motivation, really, you go nowhere. So you need the motivation. You need to be motivated. Otherwise, you have to keep around until we finish the whole course. Then you'll be able to do something for yourself in mobile application development. So with that much said, let's go straight into the business. So first of all, you're going to need a few softwares that you're going to put in our computers in order to be able to create mobile applications. So the software that you're going to need, the first one is going to be Android Studio. So Android Studio is the IDE that we'll use to do what? To create the applications themselves. Another thing that you're going to need is the Flutter SDK. Okay, so those are the 2 things that you're going to need in order to create mobile application that you're going to be doing. So once you finish this one, then you will be able to set up your application. So we're going to begin by downloading this one and then install it in our computer. And then you also download this one and then configure it so you can be able to make our applications. So let's go and see how you can download Android Studio. So you should be having at least internet connection. So go to Google and then go to google.com. You know that google.com, I hope. And then search Android Studio and then put download. Okay, download Android Studio in simple terms. Still loading. Okay, so search for download Android Studio. So when you click on download Android Studio, it will load and bring to you Android Studio here in the first search result. Click on it. Then it will process, and after processing, today I'm using very poor internet, you'll forgive me. But tomorrow I'll be having good internet connection. So it is processing. So it is processing, so we are literally going to download two things. We're going to download Android Studio and we're going to download Flutter SDK. So in the other tab, we can be searching Flutter SDK. And then, okay, let's go back to Android Studio. So this is Android Studio website, okay? So if you're using Windows, you will see here the latest version of Android Studio. Just go ahead and click on Windows, download. If you use Mac, you will also see the version of Mac being displayed here. So go ahead and download this Android Studio. For me, I already have it, so I'll click on download. So when you click on download, they'll give you a page to do what, to accept the terms. Go ahead and accept them and start downloading Android Studio. So you'll download Android Studio and then it will process until it finishes to download. And then here on the other side, you will also download Flutter SDK. So search Flutter SDK and then go ahead and click on the first search result. And when you click on the first search result, it will take you to the page of what? To the page of Flutter. So the Flutter will also do what? You'll also download it. This is the page of Flutter. It's loading. So Android Studio is here. It's going to load. It's downloading. Okay? I'll go ahead and download it. And then Flutter. It will be here. My internet is a bit slow. If you forgive me for today. I'm going to improve it. Alright, so you'll go ahead and download Flutter. So when you download Flutter, it will come in form of a what? In form of a zip file. And when you download Android Studio, it will come in form of a setup file or .exe. So I hope you know, both of you, all of you know how to download. I hope I'll put also a video how to download these things where I've already explained them. Just my internet is so slow today. So go ahead and download Android Studio, and then when it finishes, you install it. Installing Android Studio is just you open the file that you have downloaded, and then click on install, and then click on next until the Android is installed, the Android Studio. Likewise, Flutter, you go ahead and do it and install it like that. So let me show you how you set up Android Studio and Flutter. So once you finish downloading Android Studio, so the next thing you'll have to open it. So I'll come to my computer and then click on Android Studio in order to open it. So it will load. So that is the latest version for now of Android Studio, the giraffe. So once it finishes loading, the next thing you're going to add, so for you will not have this word new Flutter project, you will not have it because you have not added Flutter. So the next thing you're going to add the Flutter plugin to Android Studio. Okay, so this is another thing that you have to do. You have to add Android Studio Flutter plugin. So after you've installed Android Studio, the next thing is to add the Flutter plugin in Android Studio. So come to your Android Studio here, and then click on these three dots, and then you'll see where there is plugins. Okay, the plugins are here. So I click on plugins. So go ahead and search for Flutter. Okay, so you can see my Flutter plugin is here. It's already installed. Okay, and then when you install Flutter plugin, they'll ask you to also install the Dart plugin. Okay, so install both of those two. Then after installing them, then you'll be able to do what? To start creating you'll be able to see this button of new Flutter project. You'll be able to see this button. So those are the 2 steps. Okay, so after doing those 2 steps, the next thing is now to create a Flutter project. But however, before you create a Flutter project, you will first get a Flutter zip in your downloads. Remember, you have downloaded Flutter, then you will get a zip of Flutter. So go ahead and extract that zip. Okay, so me, I have it here. So for me, I will get for me, how I always organize my things, I always come to disk C, and then I put a folder called SRC, or source code. Okay, so me, I call it SRC, where I put my source code. Okay, so you can do the same. Come to disk C and create a folder called source, and then you can be putting your projects. So copy the zipped file of that programming, of Flutter that you have downloaded. Copy it and then paste it here, then unzip it. To unzip, you just simply right click and then you say extract. So you say extract all, it will extract for you the Flutter project, the Flutter source code, and put it here like this. Okay, so it will come in this kind of format where you have a Flutter folder. So don't mind about these folders, they are old one, but for me, I have to look at this, or you have to look at this particular one, the only one that has come, the new one. So after putting that folder in a space that you know it is stable, you're not going to change it anytime, you can simply track it. For example, me, it is under this PC, disk C, SRC, and then you see my Flutter is there. So this is the Flutter engine that is going to help us generate the apps in simple terms. So after doing that, now we can go ahead and create our first Flutter project. So create a Flutter project, just simply click on a new project, a new Flutter project. Okay, they are different. There is new project and new Flutter project. So click on new Flutter project. So it will take you here and then show you where there is what you call SDK, or you click on Flutter SDK, this one, as you can see. So the next thing is you're going to link now your Flutter with Android Studio. So to link the Flutter with Android Studio, just simply click on Flutter here and then click on these 3 dots, and in order to do what? To link it. So go to where you put your Flutter folder. For example, for my case, I put it under disk C, under SRC, under Flutter. This is where I put my folder. Okay, I go ahead and say okay. So it means that this project will go ahead and reference this Flutter where I've put it. Otherwise, if you select a long folder, then you'll not be able to proceed. So I hope you've seen how I've done that. So I'll go ahead and click on on next. So when you click on next, the next thing it will ask you to put the project information. Okay, so the first thing is the package name. So the package name, let it be simple, and it should be at least one word that is not going to have a space with it. Okay, so let me put here learn underscore Flutter. I can say learn Flutter, something like this. Okay, so that's going to be the package. I can just call it learn Flutter like this. Okay, so make sure that you don't put space in between there, because it may mess up the whole thing. So after creating that, so they'll ask you where are you going to save this project. So you can select another place where you save your project. So for me, I always save my project in a folder called GitHub. So I'll go ahead and click on this, and then I select where I want to save the project. I can say I want to save the project in a folder called GitHub. For me, I always put my folder as my things here. Okay, in GitHub. I'll explain to you what is meant by GitHub later. So I'll go ahead and select GitHub, and then I say, okay. So once I put it there, it means that my project will be saved here, Learn Flutter, in this folder. And then I can write something about this project, learning mobile app development using Flutter, like this. So after doing that, I can give it a package, but don't change this one. For now, I can leave it the way it is. So leave everything the way it is, as you can see my screen, and then click on create. So what are they saying? Would you like to overwrite? No. I think I have not put. I have put an empty folder. Let me create here an empty folder. It's okay. Okay, so I've created a special folder for this, and then I go ahead and say create. They say that it must be in lowercase. The package name, let me put here maybe underscore, and it should not have a space. So I say Learn Flutter in small letters all, and then I go ahead and say create. So when you press create, it will process and create for you the first application of Flutter. So you'll have to wait for a minute. It may take time to create the project, so you'll have to wait for it to do what? To finish. So let us wait for it to do what? To finish. So I'll pause the video. So you can see it has finished compiling, it has finished creating the project. So you'll have to wait for it to sync or to update this project. You can see the progress from down here. Okay, so you'll have to wait. Okay, so it has finished. It has finished done what? It has finished installing, it has finished creating for us the what? The project. So that is how you create a Flutter app. So right now we literally have our first what? Our first Flutter application. Okay, so the next thing is now how to be able to run this application. So to run the application, you have to connect your phone to your what? To your laptop. Okay, so as you connect your phone to your laptop, you should be able to set that phone to be a what? A debug phone. So the computer should be able to extract and install the app in your phone. So to set a debug phone, to set a phone to be debuggable, to be used for debugging, you have to enable what you call the developer mode. So the developer mode is very important, and there are different ways of how you can enable different phones. But in my case, to enable developer mode, I'm going to share my phone screen. So that is my physical phone. This is a real phone, this one, okay? This is a real phone. So in order to enable the developer mode, you come to what? To settings. And then come to about. So look where there is a phones about, okay? So different phones, different design, but look for where there is phones about. But before you go there, your phone will not have this section that you're seeing at the very last here called developer options. So click on about phone. So when you press on about phone, you'll go and look for where there is a what? The build number of the phone. So let me click on the status of the phone, and on there, I'm not seeing the build number. Build number is where you click. Okay, it is here. So whatever phone you're using, look for this guy, build number, this one. Whatever phone you're using, but look for what you call build number. So once you reach build number, you press it 3 times. One, where? First wait. Once you reach your Once you reach your phone number, you go to once you reach the build number, you press it for 3 times. Like this. 1, 2, 3. Like this. 1, 2, 3, like that. So that's how you enable. So once you do that 3 times, they'll give you a pop-up that shows that if you want to enable the developer mode or the developer options. Go ahead and press on on OK. So once you press on OK, the phone will be able to now enable the developer mode. When you come here to settings, you'll be able to access this developer mode. So this developer mode, developer option, it is the one that will allow you to connect your phone with your with your laptop. So I click on developer options, and then you'll have to make, maybe you want your phone to always stay awake when you're developing. Enable that. And then another thing that I want you to show is this one, USB debugging. So you have to enable USB debugging. You can also enable wireless debugging if you want to. So that's how you do what? You enable, okay, your developer's mode. So I hope you'll go ahead and do what? And practice it. So once you do that, then the phone will be able to access here. Okay? So you'll be able to access the phone here. Once you've enabled developer mode, you'll be able to see your phone listed here. So if you have not successfully done that, you have to repeat and enable developer mode and enable the USB debugging until your phone is here. So once your phone is here, it means that you can target it and be able to do what? To compile our application and get installed to there, so we can test the phones. So to do that, I'm going to select my phone, which is Samsung, that, and then I click on install. Okay, so I'll select Samsung, not install. Then you click on run. Okay, so when you click on run, the system is going to compile our project and then make it into a what? Into an app. So let us first run it, and then you'll come back and do what? And do what? And then, after running it, then we'll come back and try to explain the meaning of all folders and the meaning of some pieces of code that we are seeing here. So I'm going to click on run. So for the first time, your app may be really slow when it runs for the first time, but you have to be patient, because that's what it does. That's what it takes. So let us wait for it to finish running, so we can take it from there. For it to finish installing. So we'll wait, and then the statuses will be showing up here of what is being done. Okay, so I'm running it on this phone. I want it to install on this phone, so you'll have to wait for it to do it. So that's my phone, and it is still installing here, you can see. So for the very first time, it can really be slow. So let us wait like for 3 minutes or 2 minutes. When it finishes, then we resume from there. So here, for sure, you have to wait. Let me even pause the video until it finishes. So we are here waiting for it to do what? To finish compiling. So it is still compiling. Let me pause. It has successfully compiled. So that is our first Flutter application. So that is good. So make sure, at least by the end of this video, you are able to create this. Okay, just know it's not magic. No, it is possible. You see, I can increase something, the number. So make sure that by the end of you finishing to practice this video, you should have something at least that makes a counter like this. All right. So after doing that, then it means that our project has successfully run. So let us use these remaining minutes to try to understand a few things in the code and how the source code is arranged or is organized. So the project will always start from a file called main file. So in the main file, it has a function that it is called in order the project to start working. So if you want to see where your project starts from, the project will always start from here. First of all the code of your Flutter project will be inside this project called lib. Okay, so inside lib there is what we call main file. So in that main file, it is where you find now the whole what? The whole project. So it starts here at build, and then here returning material, Flutter demo. Okay, so Flutter demo. So here you see where there's a title here. So here it means that if we change something here, it will be able to do what? To change the state of this screen. So and here where there is build, it is where the application starts from. And now if I try to show you here, you see this word which is Flutter homepage. Okay, so I can say maybe welcome to Mahindo app. Welcome to Mahindo app, and I save. So when I click on save, the system will process and you'll see it will automatically update. Can you see? It updates. So it doesn't need me to run it again in order to do what? To update. So another thing is, so that's it. Another thing is this R1, how we're incrementing it, what and what. That is, we'll look at in the next video. But here, literally just know if you want to see where your project starts from, you just come to lib and then come to main.dat. Then you'll be able to see your project. So you can start modifying a few things and see if they are checking what? If they're changing as how you expected. So the remaining things is how the folders are organized. So here in the folders of Flutter we have the folder of Android. So this folder of Android is where now the native Android code is kept. Then we have the folder of Linux. This the folder of Linux is the one where the Flutter Linux project is kept. Then macOS, this is the one for what? For iPhone and Mac users. And then another important folder is this one. What is it? Okay, other important folders, we'll put them on top here. For example, a folder of assets, etc. We'll put them what? On this menu on top. So that's it, and that's how you create a Flutter application. Simply follow those steps. Let me put them into summary. You should have, first of all, a good computer. You should have basics of that programming, as I've showed you where they are. You should be motivated to move, and then you should have a good software. The software that I've looked at is Android Studio, and then also the package or the plugin of Android Studio called the Flutter Studio. Called the Flutter. And then after is the Flutter SDK. Okay, what you call that? Is the Flutter SDK, or setting up the Flutter SDK. So I've demonstrated to you how to set up that, how to set up Flutter SDK, and of how to set up the Flutter SDK path. And then I've also shown you how you can create a new mobile application from here. And I've shown you that it is the main. If you come to main, you can be able to do what? To change something. So alright, that's it for today. And I hope you guys have learned. However, I'm going to make a follow-up. You're going to have a simple platform where you can register people who are really interested in learning, and then I'll be making them follow up per lecture. maybe those who attend enough lectures, who can see how I give them what? Certificates that they learned from me. So, all right, that's it for today, and I hope it was important. Go ahead and try these things on your own side from home. Try to see if you can put any idea from these things, okay? So since that one is done, I call it a what? A lecture. So in the next lecture, we will take it from there. We're going to see now how we can manage different widgets in our project, and also maybe different techniques like how did I manage to put my screen on the phone to the laptop, etc. All those will cover them in the what? In the next lecture. For this lecture, we will end. However, I would like again to finalize of how you can get started. First of all, make sure that you have a basics of programming. If you don't have, then first watch my YouTube tutorial, this one, okay, where I introduce you to that programming and the environments that we use to develop that programs. So then you feel that you're ready, then you can come to Flutter development, of where this playlist starts from exactly. So that's it for today.